Hello. Today's video I'm going to have a look at how I've hot foiled this card, and I've used my Go Press and Foil, but you can do this on any of the other brands of hot foiling platforms. So the Gemini foil press or the Spellbinders Glimmer, you can use exactly the same techniques and do it on those as well. So this is actually foiled in two different colours. Let me just zoom the camera in so you can see. There you go. So you've got the turquoise and a darker blue on the inner ringlets. That's better. So you can see there's two different colours of foil there. And people have said, how do you get the two different colours? And it's easy. You don't do them at the same time. They are separate foiling rounds. Okay, but I'm going to show you how I do that. And let me show you the 4-plate set that I'm using. So I'm using a Spellbinders foiling plate set, and it's this set here, and it's the Spellbinders Glimmer Christmas Foliage Circle Border, and it's actually 8 foil plates and 7 dies. Okay, so you've got the main foil plate here, little ones of little bits of foliage and berries. You've actually got a nice circle there that will foil. And then you've got dies to cut out all the little bits, as well as this bit. If you want to, it cuts it with a circle kind of edge. But I'm just using this foiling plate. That's the only bit I'm using. Okay, and I will put the details of this in the video description. So you might need to scroll down to find the video description, but do have a look. So it's this little plate here. I'm going to zoom the camera in on it. There we are. So yeah, it's only a little foiling plate. It only does part of the circle, but the trick is you use it lots and lots of times. Okay, and on my cards I've been working on today, I've actually foiled it 16 times. Okay, and you're probably thinking, well, the foiling's bound to go wrong at some time during 16 times. But I'm going to show you the tricks for how you can give yourselves the best chance of making sure that if things do go wrong, then you can recover the situation. Okay, so I've got that. So for my card, now I've just stuck this temporarily together with some low tack glue. So let me just pop the embellishment off. That's just die cut embellishment, and I've just matted and layered my foiled piece onto a silver frame. So nothing complicated. Okay, just some silver mirror card and a die cut embellishment. Okay, and that will just about hold them. Okay, so, and of course you can do what you want once you've got the background. Use whatever colours you want. Do it in every way. You could do it in maybe pinks and purples for a spring card. You might want to make it more masculine using sort of more greys and blues. I'm working on Christmas cards for Christmas 2022. I'm recording this on the 27th of December. I'm working on next year's Christmas cards already. But several people have asked me about how to do this, so I'm doing this today. So I have got a piece of card that's 14 centimetres square. Let me just write that on here. 14 centimetres square. Okay. And on the back, if I zoom the camera in, I've marked the centre point on each side, and I've numbered them 1 to 4. Okay. So I've measured where the centre is. I don't mind measuring, but if you have a problem with measuring, and lots of people do, then I suggest you cut yourself a piece of paper 14 centimetres square, fold it in half a couple of times, and then use that as a guide to mark the card that you're going to foil onto. I'm marking on the back, so I'm going to foil on the front, and it won't show. Okay, so I've done my examples in 2 shades of blue. For this one I'm going to use red and a nice rich gold. Okay, I'm going to start with the gold. I've already started cutting some pieces of foil, so you know you'll want to begin with just check where to trim your foil. I just usually put my plate on, just about got that big enough, I think. That's a bit, yeah. If you're really careful when I put that down, let's put it across the corner there. That's it. So, and just cut the corners off that you're not going to be using. Okay, so when you put it down, you haven't got lots of extra foil. Okay, but first thing I need to do is get my hot foiling plate onto my GoPress and foil so it can be warming up while I'm trimming my foil. Now that I've got one piece the right shape, I can do the others. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to go sort of round in a circle lots of times. Okay, so I want to just start making the circle near the edge of my card, and I'm going to use a stamp press magnet to hold it in place. Okay, I've wrapped it up in a big piece of masking tape to give it a handle because I need to be able to hang on to it. Or if you've got the sort of stamping platform that has the magnets in a holder, have I got some of those here? No, I think they're in my stamping platform. But some stamping platform have the magnets in the plastic holder, and they're quite good because they've got a handle on them already. And you can buy spare stamping platform magnets quite easily. Places like Amazon have them, or eBay. You know, they're quite easy to get hold of. So I've got my magnet, and I'm going to just pop it on the back. And then once I've done that, I can still adjust the position of my foiling plate. Okay, so I think that's about right. Okay, but what number's at the bottom? Now I've put it in the wrong place because I want number 1 at the bottom when I'm doing it. So let me turn my card round. So I've got 1 at the bottom. What's at the bottom? Yeah. And I'm going to put it in the same place. Relatively, there we are. So I'm going to put it there. Okay, roughly. Doesn't have to be precise, but I'm going to move my magnet a bit so it's in the middle of it. Okay, so there's the magnet, there's that doesn't fall off now. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my GoPress and foil over. I'm just going to move my bits of foil out of the way and tilt the camera down a bit. Make sure it's focused. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've done that way, so I want to put my hot foil plate down onto the GoPress and foil so it's on the underside there. Okay, so I'm going to put my card on my GoPress and foil and get it nicely in the middle. Now I'm using the GoPress and foil, but you can do this with the Gemini foil press or the Glimmer. They've all got a plastic surround on that goes around the hot part, so you're lining up with the edge of that with the card in the middle, and I can see it's in the middle by the overhang either side. Again, doesn't need to be precise. And I've put a pencil mark on the plastic that I'm going to line up my marks on my card with. Okay, and then I'm going to tape my card in place with a piece of masking tape, and again you'll find to stick down to that plastic edge. Okay, and then I'm going to feel where my foil plate is underneath my card here, hold it down and slide the magnet away. Okay, now because I've pulled this off so it's easy for the camera to see, I'm going to close the lid while I put it back on the base. You don't have to take your platform off the base while you do this. Turn the camera around so you can see what I'm doing over there. Up a little bit, there we are. That's better, it's in focus now. Now, while my plate is warming up, I'm going to flip my card out of the way because I don't want my card to get hot, because if it does, I'm more likely to get over foiling. Okay, and then I'm going to cut some more foil. Okay, so I've got my foil ready, and that's been warming up while I've been cutting my foil. So I'm going to put this on here and flip my card down, and then I'm going to get some shims. I'm not quite sure how many I'm going to need for this foil, so I'm going to start with 2. So that's a double layer shim, and then I'm going to roll it. You may want to do some testing on some small bits of card before you get to this point to see how many shims you're going to need. Now I'm going to leave it taped to the edge here, and I'm going to start peeling my foil and have a look at what it's like. And actually that has come out really nicely, so 2 was right. But if it wasn't, then I can put it straight back down with the foil still in place and add another shim and roll it again, and nothing will have moved. Okay, so that's number 1 done. So now I'm carefully going to peel my piece of tape off. I'm going to turn it round to number 2. Put my tape back on. Now my plate is still nice and hot, so I haven't got to worry about setting timers for it to reheat or anything like that. That's good to go as it is. Make sure the foil is covering everything. And then I can roll it again straight away. Now I know I've got a gap, that's not an issue. I'm just going to check my foiling again. I found it best to check it every time, so I'm just peeling back my foil to check, and it's fine. So I can take my foil all the way off, and then I can unstick my card, undo my tape. It's a piece of tape I've used a few times, so it's coming away quite easily. But in a minute I will need a new piece, and then I'll have to be very careful. So number 3, more foil. And my shim. And it's reheated while I've been doing that. It was, you know, it was pleating the platform. Same again, check your foiling every time. Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, so I'm going to unstick that and close the lid a minute. I need to cut some more foil. So I found that all the foiling for this took me about 3/4 of an hour, but I've done it a few times. I've had some practice, so give yourself at least an hour, I would say. Because you're going to find that you cut your foil too short, you haven't got things hot enough, or you haven't got enough shims and you need to run things through again. So let me just check the length of my foil I need. Oh, there. There we are. And the trick to cutting your foil straight is to use big scissors, not little ones. So I usually find I can get, because this is a 12 centimetre wide roll of foil, you know, it's a standard branded roll of foil, I find I can usually divide it into 3 pieces for this. But obviously foils do come in different widths, so you know, you'll need to sort out what you've got and how to best use your foil. And I've trimmed my foil a few times. I've got past the point of needing to pick up a piece to use as a template each time. Okay, so I just need to do number 4. Let's turn this back. If you've not used a foiling platform, there are beginner guide videos on my YouTube channel, and it'd be worth having a look at those for sort of all the basics about how to use it. And there are over 100 videos on my channel, I believe. Different ideas, different ways of doing things. Some of them supersede earlier ones, as I've found better ways of doing things. So have a good look. So this is just heating up, maintaining the temperature. It's nearly there. And then I'll show you how we fill in the gaps. So I'm going to check the foiling. Yeah, that's lovely. If you've taken your foil off and then you've noticed that you've got a bit of foil missing, you can always just use another piece of foil. Okay, so let's unstick that. And I need to take my foil plate off the GoPress and foil at this stage. I need it to cool down a bit. Let's just bring that round. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my tape off the back very carefully. There we are. Okay, so we've got this, and it's nice, but there's holes in it, and we shouldn't have holes in a wreath. So what we do is we let the foiling plate cool down enough to handle it, and then we reposition it. So again, making sure I've got number 1 at the bottom, so when I turn it round and I position my plate, then I'll have it in the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position it, difficult for me to do this and show to the camera at the same time, kind of so that it will cover the gap. So let me just get it roughly in the right place. Don't want to go out. That's it, I think. Yeah, about there. There. So my circle's not getting smaller yet, I'm just filling in the gap. Okay, so that's the position I'm going to have it in. So let me turn the camera back to the GoPress and foil. focus it. Right, so now I need to line up my number 1 there, put that down there. I can take my piece of card in place. You don't have to use the numbers. If you think you keep track of where you need to be foiling without them, that's fine. But I actually find them useful, and then I don't have to keep checking. Okay, so I'm going to flip my card back, and the hot foil plate needs to reheat. While it's doing that, I'm going to cut my foil. So let me just pause the camera a minute while I get my foil ready. Okay, so my foil is ready and my plate has heated up. So all I've got to do is put down my foil, put my card down on top, put my shim on, and I'm back to the routine of going round another 4 times. So that's number 1. And check the foiling every time. Yep, happy with that. And then number 2, exactly the same way as before. Okay, so I'm going to finish going round, and I'm going to pause the camera so you don't have to watch me do it all, and then I'll show you what we do for the next stage. Okay, so I've just finished rolling for the 4th time on this round. So that can come off of there. I'm going to take the foil plate off so it can cool. Let's move the camera back. I'm just going to do that. Come on, focus. That's better. Right, let's take the tape off. Okay, and let's put the camera straight so you don't. That's better. Right, so this is what we've got. Make sure that is zoomed in, yeah. So this is what we've got. It looks a bit lumpy around the edge, the inside edge, but that's fine. Those lumps and bumps will get covered up by the next round. Okay, so the next round's going to be done in red, but before I sort out my foil, my plate has cooled down just enough in that minute while I've shown you that for me to reposition it. So let me check where number 1 is again. I want that at the bottom. Okay, so number 1 is down here at the bottom. So I'm going to turn my card so number 1 stays at the bottom, and then I can reposition my foil stamp so that I can do the next round around the inside. Now, if I have my foil stamp going across the top, it's a wide foil stamp and it will need more pressure to foil. And so there might be more likely to get bits that are missed. Okay, so what I actually want is the same position, but I'm going to move it to the side instead. So I'm going to maybe put it round the side here. Okay, so let me do this so I can look at what I'm doing, and then I'll show you where I positioned it. Right, so I've got the position, so where there's one of these bits where there's no foiling, I'm going to make sure that gets filled in, but with just a little bit of overlap onto the next layer out. Okay, so what I'll end up with is a red ring that actually has a gold ring sticking out past it, but looking like it's behind it. Okay, so that's got that in place. Let's get that on the Go Press and Foil. Actually, let me bring this up closer to zoom the camera in so you can have a really good look at how I've positioned that. There, okay, you see? So I've got my, if I turn the card round, you can see I've got my number 1 at the bottom. And if I turn it back to the front, not quite that far, and there you can see I've just got it in from the edge. So my gold will still show, but it overlaps the edge. Okay, right, let's put that on the Go Press and Foil. So again, you can do this with any of the hot foiling platforms. Doesn't have to be a Go Press and Foil. So I'm going to put it there. I'm going to tape the card in place. Hold down the foil stamp through the card. Slide off the magnet. Flip the card back out the way because I don't want to heat up my card. I just want to heat my foil stamp. Okay, and I'm just going to get my foil ready while that's heating up. Okay, so foiling plate is nicely heated. I've cut my pieces of foil, so I'm just going to add some foil, put my card down, put my shims on, and then roll it. I'm going to flip that back. I'm going to check my foiling quite carefully because I find that red foil quite often needs more pressure, but this looks to be fine. No, that is fine. Okay, so that's number 1 done. Hope you're getting the idea now. We just turn it round to number 2. So I'm not moving my foil plate, being very careful that I don't. Just moving the card each time. I mean, the foil plate stays hot and I don't lose time waiting for it to heat up. I just have to occasionally pause while the platform heats. You know, pretty much by the time I've turned my card and put my foil on and put it all back, it's nearly ready to go. I only need to go round once for this round. I shouldn't have any gaps. Check the foiling. Yep, that's fine, and it's overlapped. So carefully with the tape. Number 3. Now I use a very good quality low tack masking tape. It's a decorator's masking tape for delicate surfaces, and the brand is Frog. So it's Frog tape, the yellow one. Is the particular one I use. It comes in a yellow packaging and it's yellow tape. They do others, I think they do an orange one and a green one that are designed for slightly different uses, but 3M do a similar range of professional sort of decorators masking tapes, and it's worth getting some. Just you'll waste less card. I use it when I'm die cutting and I use it when I'm foiling. I'm just waiting for this to warm up. Again, check the foiling. That's fine. Just got number 4 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, if I didn't have the numbers, I'd be constantly having to check where the blank bit was. But it's much quicker just to look for the numbers and rotate the card. So that's the final red one. It's pretty in the red and gold. So I'm going to take the foil plate off now because I've completed the circle. And I need it to cool so I can reposition it for the next one. Let's bring the camera around here. A little bit further. That's it, I'll just take the tape off. I think I'm going to need a new piece of tape next time, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so this is starting to look rather nice. I'm rather liking the red and the gold. Zoom the camera in. There. That is looking rather splendid. So now we just need to do one more round in the circle, if you want to. You know, you can do as much or as little of this as you want. And in fact, if you're adding a large topper in the middle of that, you could definitely stop there. You just cut a circle big enough to cover up the edges, and you're done at that stage. Or you can start smaller. You don't have to do the very outside one. It's entirely up to you. I'm giving you inspiration. Feel free to use as much of it or as little of it as you want. And if you'd found that you had ended up with a gap, you've got the smaller foil plates in this set that you could just foil a few bits of foliage into the gaps to cover them up. So our last round of gold. So before I do my foil, let's get the plate in the right place. So again, let's check number one at the bottom and turn it round so that number 1 stays at the bottom. Okay, and then again I need to change my position. So I was, last time I came down the side there, so this time I'm going to go across the corner so that all my bits and pieces are in different places, all the different bits of the pattern. Okay, so I'm going to position that so I've got a little bit of overlap. That's it. Get my magnet onto the back. So there it is, my magnet holding it in place, and then I can put it onto the Go Press and foil to warm up. Number 1 at the bottom, so I start in the right place. I nearly started at number 4. Right, oh, I need some new piece of tape. that's in place. Flip the card back so it doesn't get hot and let the plate warm up. Okay, so I'm going to get my foil ready again and then come back to you. Okay, so my foil is cut. I'm ready to go for my last round. So foil on, shim on, roll it again. Check the foiling. Yep, that's fine. Now this is reheating. So check the foiling. Yeah, I'm going to move my card round. Now, very carefully peeling my tape now because it's a fresh piece of tape. So I'm starting at the corner that's on the card rather than at the edge. And then it's less likely to find a way of tearing your card. So that's number one. So I want number two. Yep, number two. There we are. There we are, that's two. Peel that carefully. Another piece of foil. I'm going to need one more piece of foil by the looks of it. Thought I'd cut enough, but seems I haven't. Maybe I picked up two together or something. Number three. I'll have you all looking now to see what I did. Might have enough bits of foil. Whether or not I foiled twice in the same place or something like that. But as you can see, it doesn't matter. That's reheating. Now there are other wreath building videos on my YouTube channel, and they show you how you can use the same technique but with other foil stamps. That's ones that sort of have a branch going round in a circle or leaves going round in a circle. And again, you can do different coloured pieces of foil as you go along if you want to. Yep, right, I need one more piece of foil. No, I've not quite cut that big enough. That's what you get for trying to do things in a hurry. Yeah, that's better. Right. So we're almost there. Yeah, I haven't moved it round. Right, tape off. So what I've done there is I've folded in the same place twice. And it just shows you that having it taped down works, because you can't really tell from looking at it. So, number 4. It's definitely the right bit, ready to go. So let me get that piece of foil there. I'm just going to overlap it with that piece, and that will work fine. And now it needs to heat up. So, sorry about this, I'm normally quite well organised. There we are. I'll take both my bits of foil off. There we are. Let's bring the camera around so I can show you what we've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my piece of tape off the back carefully, because it's quite a fresh piece of tape still. So I'm just going to zoom in on this because it's quite important. Let's get that way you can see it. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm starting at the corner that's on the card to peel the tape, rather than at this edge that's on the cut edge. So I'm just doing this, and if you do that, it's not guaranteed, but you're less likely to start your edge of your card tearing. Right. So here we are. So you can see we've got our red and our gold. Okay. I'm just going to bring the camera up a bit. Try and get some better light on the foiling and zoom it in a bit. There we are. There you are. You can see the red and the gold. I think that's going to make a very pretty card. What I'll do is I'll cut something for the centre, probably in some red mirror card, an ornament to go in the centre, and then either some red or some gold to match this onto. Okay, so that's how you do it in 2 colours, using the one small foil plate to produce a whole wreath background. Okay, thank you for watching.